seeing people filter in into the attendees. So we'll get started in just a minute. All right, good morning, everybody. Thank you for attending the latest edition of the monthly webinar series. I apologize, the Congresswoman is currently on the House floor. The voting schedule got a little mixed up, and so she is going to try to make it here as soon as the votes are done. So I'm Michael Stoudemire. I'm the Outreach Director for the Congresswoman. I'm going to be hosting this webinar. It is a privilege to host these seminars to help connect community members, state, local officials, everyone across New York 22nd District with the resources available to them through the federal government. Today, it is an honor to be joined by Colonel Paul Bishop, the commander of the Eastern Air Defense Sector in Rome, and Staff Sergeant Eric Anderson, New York Air National Guard recruiter of the 224th Air Defense Group. Before handing it off to Colonel Bishop, I wanted to take a moment to give some background on his distinguished career. Colonel Bishop has a lengthy association with the Griffith Business and Technology Park. His father was an active duty airman who was stationed at Griffith Air Force Base in the 1970s. His mother also worked on the base. His first job as a teenager was bagging groceries at the Griffith Commissary. Colonel Bishop joined the Air National Guard after high school and graduated from the United States Air Force basic training in 1989. His first assignment was the 174th Fighter Wing in Syracuse, where he was an F-16 avionics maintenance specialist. In 1991, he was deployed with the 174th to Al-Kharj Air Base in Saudi Arabia for Operation Desert Storm. I apologize if I messed that up, Colonel. In 1994, Colonel Bishop moved to Rome when the 113th ACS assumed the NORAD mission at the Northeast Air Defense Sector, NEADS. Over the past 28 years, Colonel Bishop has worked more than 31,000 mission crew hours and held several leadership positions at EADS. Prior to becoming EADS commander, Colonel Bishop was the 224th Air Defense Group, ADG commander. With that background, I'll turn it over to you, Colonel Bishop, if you wanted to say a few words before.
Thank you, Michael. That's a gracious introduction, and we appreciate the opportunity to come talk with you and Congresswoman Tenney's staff. We appreciate the space and the platform to talk about our mission at the Eastern Air Defense Sector. And I brought our recruiter, Staff Sergeant Eric Anderson, with us so we can talk at length at the end about how to join our organization.
Perfect, thank you. If you don't mind, we'll just start kind of with the basics. Let me pull up the slides first, and then we can get going. So first and foremost, where exactly is the Eastern Air Defense Sector?
Sure. So the physical location of our Battle Control Center, which is what EADS is in the nomenclature of the Air Force, our Battle Control Center and the headquarters building are located at the Griffith Business and Technology Park at the former Griffith Air Force Base.
Perfect. And then many listeners have a vague understanding of what EADS does, but many others have no idea. Can you give us some detail about your organization, such as what you do, how the organization is structured, and who works there?
Sure. I'll start with what we do. Our primary mission is a tactical command and control node for our combatant commander, which is General Van Herk, who is the commander of NORAD. So if you go back one slide, please. So NORAD is the North American Aerospace Defense Command. It is a binational command formed of an agreement that the United States made with Canada in 1948, I believe. So it was a binational agreement that we would work together in cooperation to defend North America against the threat at the time, which was Soviet Union long-range aviation strategic bombers. So the NORAD is broken into regions. So the Alaska NORAD region, the Canadian NORAD region, and the continental US region. So the Eastern Air Defense Sector is one of two sectors that working together defend the continental US NORAD region. So our headquarters is actually Tyndall Air Force Base, Florida. And that's the big picture of how we're organized. So NORAD divided into regions, and then the tactical execution node where the rubber meets the road is at EADS.
Okay, understood. And then I believe the next slide is also going to have, so air defense is a broad term. What exactly is involved in it, and what specific things do airmen do every day?
Sure. So our airmen that work on the operations floor, primary job is to detect and identify and assess air tracks and filter out cooperative targets versus non-cooperative targets, meaning airplanes that are allowed and supposed to be in a particular airspace versus airplanes that are unidentified and we don't know who they are or what their intent is. So we build that air picture, we monitor it, we export it to headquarters and other interagency partners. We warn leaders about tracks that aren't supposed to be in a particular airspace. And then we scramble assets. We have seven different alert locations in our area of responsibility that we can scramble fighters and or Coast Guard helicopters for a low slow threat. And that's what we do. We identify and then are in a position to neutralize a threat if needed.
Okay, understood. Thank you. My next question is, where do most of your National Guardsmen come from? Are they New Yorkers, or do they transfer into EADS from active duty Air Force or from other National Guard installations?
Thanks, Michael. That's a great question. And I kind of skipped over the part of who we are. So the who we are is a New York Air National Guard organization that does a federal Title 10 mission. So all of our full-timers, with the exception of a couple of Navy liaison officers and our Canadian partners, we have 15 active duty Canadian partners. We are all New York Air National Guard. So as New York Air National Guardsmen, we come from some folks from the community, such as myself, a local kind of guard baby through and through, if you will. And we also are open to bringing in assessments from active duty when somebody's active duty service commitment is up, either officer or enlisted. The Guard is a great opportunity for them to continue with their benefits. And we do have full-time and part-time opportunities. So a full-timer in the New York Air National Guard is called an AGR, which is an active guard or reservist. So we're kind of a well-kept secret, but we don't mean to be a secret. If you're an AGR in the Air National Guard, you get active duty pay, entitlements, and benefits with the bonus of you belong to the organization that hired you to be an AGR, and you're not going to move on a three-year cycle like an active duty counterpart would, unless you want to, of course.
Okay, thank you very much. My last question is, if a young person is interested in joining the Air National Guard and serving at EADS, how can they go about that?
That's another great question, but let me assess your definition of young. So for a non-prior service, we can take up to a 35-year-old. Is that right, Sergeant Anderson?
We can take actually up to the age of 39 years old. So, and that's not including prior service military as well. So there's exceptions to that rule as well. And concerning medical professionals and lawyers, things like that. So, but generally 39 is our number, sir.
Awesome. So I guess as the old guy in the room, I would say, yes, anyone under 39 is still categorized as young. So that's a great question. And Sergeant Anderson is here. He is our EADS recruiter. That's his full-time job. And I'll hand it off to him for further explanation. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Sergeant Anderson, the 224th designated recruiter. I'm excited to kind of talk to you about the opportunities and how you would go about joining, a little bit more specifics about the benefits, how to do it, things like that. So we're excited to get started. Next slide, please. So what is the Air National Guard? Colonel Bishop gave a pretty good overview. I'll just kind of briefly go through this. So the Air National Guard, we're a reserve component of the United States Air Force. So meaning that we take care of a lot of mostly part-timer things, but uniquely at EADS, obviously we have the full-time mission as previously discussed. So we're the dedicated military force to each state. So we're the New York Air National Guard. We go through all the same basic training and technical training that an active duty active duty member would. So we're same training, same everything. It's just we have a different mission. So our main work schedule is 1 week in a month and then 2 weeks of annual training to make sure that we're upgrading our folks, making sure that they're sharp on their tasks and always moving forward and becoming better. However, certain units, as previously discussed, have a full-time mission, and Colonel Bishop talked about the AGR program, so I won't get into that too much. So let's see, the governor calls us to respond to any statewide issues, snowstorms, flooding, COVID-19 centers, etc. And there's about 5 wings throughout New York State, each with its own different mission set. So, so we can talk about the benefits of joining as well. So I like to go about that part first because, you know, why would you do something like this? Well, it's a great opportunity. It's a big sacrifice. But let me talk to you a little bit about some of the benefits of doing this. So being part-time, that means you get to wear the uniform 1 week in a month. And for a lot of people, that's great because you might want to keep your full-time job and also just make some extra money on the side. Maybe you have a call to serve and you like the idea of wearing a uniform, heritage, whatever. You can apply to full-time opportunities after training. So there's those full-time jobs. You can pick the job you want out of over 120 different careers in order to help you succeed in the civilian sector, or just expand on the skills that you might already have. So if you're, let's say you're in IT or cybersecurity or something, and you just want to keep becoming more proficient, we have so many job opportunities in that career field that are just going to help you continue to trend upward with your personal success, as well as militarily. Or like I've hired nurses before, and then their part-time job in the Air Guard is to build bombs. Two totally different fields, but hey, she loved it and it's what she wanted to do. So get you out of your normal everyday life and do something different. And you gain a lot of professional experience. You know, we teach professionalism. That's part of what we do. Our 3 core values are service before self, excellence in all we do. And I think that it's awesome that people can continue to grow, have good personal growth there. So the next thing is that you get to serve in your hometown and pick your duty station. So anyone that's local in the area, Utica, Rome, New Hartford, this general area, a lot of people, you know, they say they want to serve, but, you know, maybe they don't want to leave. You have a good support group in the area. Your family's here. Maybe you're married or have boyfriend, girlfriend or something, and you want to stay in the area. This is a great option to still serve and do something that you feel you're called to and stay around. So, and grow your, help be a community member or, and grow yourself at the same time. Here's probably one of the best things about it, especially for young folks. Most people want to go to college after high school, right? So for anyone on that path, college can be expensive, right? We do 100% tuition assistance to any SUNY or CUNY school. And we also will match what we would give to a SUNY, the maximum amount that we would give to a SUNY or CUNY school to a private institution as well, anyone that would accept our money, basically. And there are certain private institutions that we fully fund as well, such as Syracuse University, which is a great opportunity as well. We have low cost health and dental care. prices. We have people that join just for that. You know, they have kids. That's, you know, they're paying over $1,000 a month in insurance costs. I mean, you can get your family up to 5 children covered for around $200. So it's a very wise decision for anyone that with a family and would could utilize that. So discounted prices, we get military discount almost anywhere. We have retirements. So for a lot of people, getting that second retirement on top of a civilian job to retirement, that's awesome. Let's see, there's VA home loans that you can get as well. It's another easy way to get into a home. I know that's a big goal for many folks. We promote, you're guaranteed all the way up to E5. So the ranking system goes E1 through E9. You can get up to guaranteed up to E5 just starting out. So you can, so long as you're doing your work correctly, you're guaranteed promotions pretty much. And then space available travel, certain units will actually, if there's space available on one of their flights, you can get a free flight. So it's another cool little benefit. And there's more to that, but I don't want to go too much into it. But next slide, please. So we just talked about why, you know, it would be beneficial to do that. Let's look at some of the jobs available. So these are just some of the opportunities, not all of them, but these are probably some of my top picks and what I see people most frequently gravitate towards. When we come to IT jobs, I mean, we've got several different specialities, and that's only 3 of them that you'll see right there. Whether it's working on software, hardware, general IT stuff, you name it, we've got it. With aviation, one of the biggest jobs that we have here at Eastern Air Defense Sector is the command and control battle management operations. That's in the top right corner of the aviation tab. And that's actually great for full-time opportunity. If you want to serve full-time locally, that's something that you want to be checking out. Construction jobs. I mean, anything you can think of in the civilian sector, we have it. Emergency response, that's a big pick for a lot of people, whether it's firefighter, military police, or emergency management. We've got those as well. So, and like I said, these are just some of the opportunities we have. There's a lot more that you can do as well. So next slide, please. College specific benefits. So the Air Force actually has the community college of the Air Force. We're the only branch that has their own college associated with the training. So a lot of folks might think, well, hey, if I join right out of high school, I'm missing the first semester of college or whatever. Not really, because actually for basic training and technical training, you get college credits accredited through Southern Academy of Colleges and Schools, like legitimate college credits that you can transfer to your university and stay on track with the rest of your graduating class so that you're not veering off. So next slide, please. Again, I think I kind of already covered a lot of the tuition assistance and community college here. Air Force of the Community College, or Community College of the Air Force benefits. So I don't think there's a lot that we really need to go over on this slide besides the bottom piece there. You would make around, say you were a part-timer showing up 1 weekend a month, and this is why it's so great for college students, right? You're 17 or 18 years old, fresh out of high school. You go to basic training and tech school. You're back within a couple, 2, 3, 4 months, and you're going to school full time. You're debt free. You're gaining professional experience and a great job, and you're earning between your drill paycheck and your GI Bill assistance anywhere from $600 to $1,000 a month, just for working 2 days a month. You can't beat it. So I think it's a fantastic route for any college student. And all the jobs are very much so transferable into civilian life and careers as well. So you're not in the Air Force, Air National Guard. Generally, you know, we're not out in the field. We're not out in the battlefield doing, trench work and crazy things like that. We're very technologically based. So you're very well prepared for a good civilian career or a career in the Air National Guard, whichever route you take. Next slide, please. So full circle here, going back to kind of what does it look like for someone to join the Air National Guard? So this is like a good general qualification, like what a quality applicant would look like for them to join. So age range is 17 to 39. There are exceptions to that 39 age rule there. So and we can get into the weeds of that. If you look into it, give me a call, we'll discuss it. So you would need at least GED or high school diploma, or be a senior in high school and provide a letter that you are on from your guidance office that you're on track to graduate. Good moral standing, good legal standing, right? We got to make sure that we don't have too many legal issues. There are things that are waiverable, so never count yourself out. Make sure that you ask the questions first. So don't look at that and say, oh, well, I have this past issue and I'm done for it. No, make sure that you ask the question first and then have an answer. Be a U.S. citizen or permanent resident. This is a fantastic opportunity for green card holders, permanent residents. I put in about 2 myself, and they're now becoming United States citizen because we actually expedite their citizenship process. That's a very tough thing for anyone that's immigrating to the United States. So becoming an Air National Guard member, it's a fantastic opportunity. So I've seen 2 people's lives completely changed by that, and we'd like to help some more folks. No hand or neck tattoos. So basically everything from wrist forward and neck up, as long as there's no tattoos there, you're allowed to join. Now, the caveat is you may have ring finger tattoos, because some people have career fields like they're an electrician or construction worker, and they just feel that it's best for them to have that. That's fine. And then you also are allowed to have a tattoo that's about the size of a quarter on your hand now as well. That was just released like probably a month ago. So and that's great. And even Space Force, they're allowing about the size of a quarter tattoo on your neck as well. But Air National Guard general rule: no tattoos on the hands, face, or neck, minus a ring tattoo or a small quarter size tattoo on the hand. You have to meet the Air Force height and weight requirements as well. Again, don't count yourself out. Don't think, oh, maybe I'm too heavy or too light. Have the conversation first. There's lots of things that might surprise you about that as well. So physical conditions, good mental and physical health. Yeah, just essentially there's a lot of health standards that are out there. A lot of people would think, oh, well, I'm disqualified because of, I had ADHD when I was a kid, or I had this, or I had that, I had this. Again, I'm just going to go back to what I said before. Have the conversation first and determine that with the recruiter, because there's loopholes, there's things that you can do to perhaps waive those issues, or it might not even be something that is a concern in the first place. So always ensure that you have that conversation. ASVAB, we'll talk about that a little bit. That's the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery Test. ASVAB's much easier to say, right? So, and all that is that's like an SAT or a placement test, but for the military. Generally speaking, you only need a 31 overall score to pass. We've got 35 on there because you want at least that would open at least a good handful of jobs. And even our lower scoring jobs are actually all very good, very solid jobs that would transfer to the outside or be a good career on the inside as well. So and then the score goes to about 99. So next slide, please. So as VAB testing, and the way that works too, just to get into the weeds of that a little bit more, it's not like a score of 31. A lot of people think of testing as, oh, hey, 70 or 80 is passing the test, right? It doesn't work that way. It's more like a percentile thing, like gotta be above the 31 percentile is the way that I would look at it. And the cool thing about it is it helps us kind of figure out what you are good at, what you're not good at, and maybe identify something that you didn't know about yourself, right? Like you might be someone who's really into history or whatever, and you might find out that you're very good, you're very mechanically minded, and that you are passionate about that, and help show you those opportunities as well. So you can take the test in school. You can talk to your guidance counselors about that if you're in high school, or you can swing by a recruiter's office and schedule to take an ASVAB. And those scores are valid for about 2 years. So
Can you talk about the 4 different components of the
yes, absolutely. So you'll see up here MAGE. Those are the 4 different components that the Air Force pulls out of the ASVAB. There's a few different ones, but what MAGE stands for is Mechanical, Administrative, General, and Electrical. And those are mostly what the Air Force is looking for, to see how inclined you are in those 4 areas. There is an overall general score that you have, but those are the 4 that the Air Force are seeking out. So yeah, no problem. Next slide, please. All right, there's just a quick snapshot of the height to weight requirements. Again, there are different things. This is for male and female. So everyone can look at this and know that this is what you would have to abide by. Now there's different rules with this too, right? So let's say you're a bodybuilder and you have like 0% body fat, right? But you're 20 pounds over. Okay, we're going to use a BMI chart for that as well. So next slide, please. Okay, and here's my contact information too. So if anyone is interested and wants to get some more clarification, this is just so that you guys can follow us online, take a look at things, and see if this is something that you want to do or get some clarification, right? Because right, we talked about during the qualifications, different moral or health issues, things like that, that might be a disqualifier, it might not, right? You don't know until you know. So make sure you have that conversation. So there's my contact info. And I guess we'll take any questions that you guys might have, or comments, concerns, whatever.
Thank you, Eric. I appreciate it. If there are any questions, you guys can utilize the Q&A function in the chat, and then we can field those. While we're waiting for that, I just wanted to take a chance to thank you, Eric, for presenting today on the mission of the Air National Guard, and presenting for anybody that might be interested in joining public service. So, and then thank you, Colonel Bishop, for presenting on the mission of EADS, making sure that we all know what it is that you guys are doing with your critical missions, protecting our airspace. So I don't believe I see any questions in here. So I will end it at that. I apologize, Colonel Bishop, that the Congresswoman was delayed by her voting schedule, but I appreciate you taking the time out of your day for this one. For everybody else, this concludes our monthly seminar. This seminar has been recorded, and it will be posted to the Congresswoman's official website. So thank you, everybody, and have a good morning.